drinks we have are basically white Russians minus the milk, so just Russians.
Hard white Russian or hard.
There's no
hard
white.
Russians.
Hard Russians.
Or because it's with Irish cream liqueur, so they're Irish Russians.
There you go. That's all right. So let's put a. I don't know what the ratios are, so let's just start with a healthy dose of vodka.
But I'm not normally, because I'm in China. It's like 6 or 7 a.m. for me, so I'm drinking coffee while you're tasting whiskey.
Right. So I feel bad for you.
I'm happy with freshly ground coffee. Does this vodka have a story? I've never seen new vodka.
This is let's get the. Oh, you can see there. So
turn
here's
it,
the new
yeah.
vodka, spelled like Helvetica almost, and it's got the Texaco / Texas symbol on the back.
Texan vodka.
And 7x distilled. I feel like it's like the number of blades on your shaver. It's like
right.
N+1 blades.
Yeah.
Like, we'll literally just copy any blade you have and put one more.
7x distilled. Like what does the 7th time do? It's already like pure alcohol.
Well, for baseline, I am gonna get a sniff.
All right. It's very alcohol-y on the nose. It reminds me of
well, the distilling takes down
rubbing
the mouth.
alcohol.
Not the mouth, not the nose.
It's pretty smooth though.
It's
Much smoother than rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Not that I've tried.
That would be. That's a great. We're gonna do a blind tasting today.
See if you can tell which is the rubbing alcohol.
The control group.
Is it creamy? They have a cow in their logo.
Yeah.
So does this have a story?
So
5 farms.
This is my stepdad Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He is a connoisseur for Jamaican rum cream. Sangsters is the brand, but you can't get it anywhere.
Right.
Nowhere. So we had to import it somehow to Delaware. My hookup was dead on this, so couldn't get any more. So I was really in a pinch for non-Bailey's cream liqueurs, and I bought a whole bunch of them. And there's one I didn't try yet. So he got some, I got some others, and let's go. What's a good ratio?
So I have this new thing where anytime I have any type of question, I just ask ChatGPT. And it's pretty fun because most of the time the answers have some use. It's not like 100%.
Yeah.
I think of it like asking an intern at like a company of whatever industry that you're interested in. So this is like we have on tap like interns at all the big alcohol like AB InBev, right? And they really want to work in the liquor industry, and they've read about it a bit in high school, and now like they're going to school for it. They have zero experience and they're very confused, and they probably confidently tell you the wrong thing sometimes. But they also have like some interesting nuggets.
I compare this to recalibrating. So you know everybody's got that one friend who doesn't talk very much and just knows a lot of stuff, but they're really humble, which you totally ignore because someone right next to them is screaming the wrong answer all the time.
Right.
At the bar, they're like, no, it's this. And it's really not that. But nobody's going to fact check them right now because we're drinking. Watch out for this screaming, confident, I'm sure answer, which can just be ridiculously off the wall.
Right. Yeah. Wait, so in this scenario, this analogy, ChatGPT is the screaming person?
Obnoxious. Sometimes right, but...
Right. Okay, so 1.5 ounces vodka, 1.5 ounces Irish cream liqueur.
Which is exactly what Tornado said.
Maybe he is ChatGPT.
That's right.
All right.
So we're going to 1-to-1 it.
1-to-1. It's a very light, and it's not super viscous.
This definitely looks different than Kahlua or Bailey's.
Indeed. It's much more the density or viscosity of milk, like whole milk that you get at the store. Right? And then it's slightly darker.
I mean, overall color is similar to a White Russian.
Pretty sweet.
Definitely lighter than a mudslide.
Richer More complex flavors than Kahlua for sure.
Definitely, and we're not even watering it down with milk, so
right.
You got to factor that.
And more alcohol.
It doesn't hide that.
Yeah.
Doesn't
but this is 7x distilled. I don't know what we'd expect.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to have smarter tasting notes. I guess there's definitely a stronger like dairy, milky
versus Bailey's,
taste.
Which is
sugarier. Yeah, sugary and stronger coffee notes. Where this is like the dairy, the creaminess comes on. Yeah, much stronger. It's good.
Single batch Irish cream. I mean, like, I don't know if single batch is a thing for Irish cream, but they're advertising it in big letters, so I guess I have to do Irish cream tastings now, like do a horizontal.
Right. Single batch sounds just like a marketing ploy. Are they mixing batches of Irish cream liqueur? Does that like lower the quality?
I mean, compared to whiskey, right? So whiskey is something we know that is, single batch or not single batch, or wine, single barrel, or olive oil, single press or whatever, right? But for whiskey, I think that's the most legitimate, even more so than wine, where if you have a single batch whiskey or, unadulterated, unblended, you can definitely get
and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
But like for cream liqueurs, like are there hyper cream liqueur connoisseurs who can really tell the difference?
Not
if it's single batch or if it's blended, right?
Until we're doing
we're cultivating the KOL. Might have overheard or gotten involved in conversations about blockchain and NFTs with people who are not so familiar with those concepts. People in my family that I've talked to, they've somehow read articles or seen headlines about scams, of course, and FTX, which I don't know how, because none of them bought any crypto, but somehow it's a big enough story that they've paid attention to it.
Well, Congress is involved too, so.
Right. Yeah, so that maybe helps get it on their radar. They think of it like another world, probably similar to how most people thought about the internet in the early 90s. Now, I don't want to draw too many comparisons because I think that's overplayed and not a certainty at all. And then I tried to very clumsily explain use cases that I thought they might understand. A couple things seem to stick. One is like remittances. Mm-hmm. It's easy to explain, okay, I can send money and there's no banks or anybody in between. The second, the supply chain stuff, it's like, oh, you have all these parties that need to trust each other. They're doing something and then passing it along, and you want to know like what's going on at each point. And so having like an open database, it's like a spreadsheet that everybody can see. If you update it, everybody knows, and there's rules on how you update it. That kind of stuck with folks. And then for people who play video games, you can keep your World of Warcraft character and sell it. That kind of
talking about like Xbox people?
It's people who have played RPGs where they spent a lot of time and like build up a character, and then it's just kind of, it just sits there. Those were kind of like the three use cases that tend to stick with people.
Yeah, I feel like people, oftentimes just respond, well, I can just use my bank and it's all set up. I don't need to buy a new speculative asset. Plenty of methodologies within traditional banking that allow you to send money pretty much instantly, like Venmo. Around last year, I encouraged my wife to buy some ETH instead of purchasing tech stocks or anything like that. I messaged her, I was like, so we should probably think about self-custodying your ETH. And she's like, yeah, I've been actually pretty nervous about that. She's been reading about FTX and even Binance as well, so she's pretty plugged in. Right. And we set up like a self-custody wallet for her, and we transferred it off, and like she had a lot of relief after that. Self-custodying was definitely a good thing to do, I think, over the break.
What inspired you to like even want to pitch that to your wife?
I wanted to make sure that her funds would be safe. I didn't want to one day wake up and be like, hey, Binance is insolvent. And then my wife sees that news and she says to me, so what about my ETH? And then I have to say to her, it's gone or you can't take it out. So I just wanted to be like a bit ahead of the game and make sure that she was all set up with that. And just quickly going back to Carlo Rossi, $2 Chuck is the nickname for that.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
We just called it Rossi back in the day. I wonder if anybody else had heard anything during the holidays.
Well, I got one here.
Yeah?
We did see the new Coinbase commercial.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Which,
There's
unlike...
a new Coinbase commercial.
Does fortune still favor the bold?
No,
that was FTX.
Yeah, that was... The old Coinbase commercial was, here's a QR code.
Right.
Scan it, because we literally can't say anything, because legal would not allow us to say anything, because it would probably come back to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And they replaced that with 4 sentences like, we are a public company.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We hold customer assets 1-to-1. Like, literally, they just said very clear things that legal would have allowed them to say.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, this is as good as buying into the wheel.
Right.
Or,
yeah.
I'm a celebrity, and I'm not endorsing the fact that I'm a celebrity getting paid for this, and I want you to buy this.
Yeah.
Well, they would have had probably 100% share of voice, I'd imagine. Were there any other crypto ads?
Was it?
There you go. So last year they had share of voice with FTX. FTX obviously is a fucking...
Well, so the one before, it was at the Super Bowl.
Right.
I guess the only TV I watch is football. And this was just a normal, significant game, with
but
the Eagles.
FTX is not going to be advertising at the Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Is Tether's an ERC20, but it's also on Tron? Like, what's the primary L1 that it was?
But I believe that the number one is now Tron, and previously it was Ether. Tron is a customer of mine, not an active advisory client, so they do pay me, but nothing related to this project. And so Tron has $7.25 million of USDD supply, backed by TRX, which is not good. BTC.
Wait. Good. Say that again. So Tether owns...
No.
Or sorry, worth of USDD that's backed by Tron.
Hold on, let's find this. This is a little FTX situation. Hold on. Let's be careful how we're saying this. Let me find now I'm reading it to you as US dollar values. So they have $725 million outstanding of USDD.
Tether does.
No.
Yeah.
USDD. Tron.
Okay.
The TRC20 token, named USDD, which is advertised as a stablecoin product, has an outstanding value of, also known as liabilities to customers, of $725 million USD. This is backed by a reserve of Bitcoin in the amount of $230 million. Also, USDC, $340 million. So that's Coinbase. USDT, $50 million. And TRX, which is its related party of $50 million. Mm-hmm. And then also on a different wallet, they have another $50 million. That does not add up to $2 billion.
Right.
That sounds bad because FTX did the same thing with Alameda. Alameda, its main holding, and I guess that's fair to say here too, is because the FTX token in that situation was very thinly traded and basically only used as a settlement between FTX and Alameda, right? And they kind of made the market on that.
When you say it was thinly traded, is that because it was mostly staked by, FTX users receiving return?
I'm not sure. My understanding is that there were 100% of tokens minted and only 5% of them were traded. And the other 95% of the market was held and not traded, and it was used as collateral so that I guess we can say... If we're going to say it like that, I can edit this out nice. You guys. That was scary because the amount held for collateral was 20 times more than the amount that was traded. And even the amount that was traded was probably self-dealing. In contrast to Tron, at least this is only $100 million of using TRX, itself as TRX as a reserve. Whereas I know that there's a lot more than 100 million of Tron being used and actually used by people out there, which is
a good
just
sign.
That's a better sign.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing where this 750 million is backed.
Well, it seems like it's those.
And it says total collateral 1.4 billion. I'm not seeing that.
Collateral. Okay.
Like USDT, that's 50 million.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
400 million,
right?
and then a few hundred million a bit. Like that doesn't. These numbers
Doesn't
don't add
add
up to
up.
that.
Yeah, maybe that.
That's not good. So let's answering back to your actual question. Oh, here you go. So USDT in Tether on Tron is 37 of the billion, whereas only so many 100 million or tens of million is in the USDD, which is their own product. There's a lot more billions of dollars of Tether on Tron network.
Mm-hmm.
And then a close second at 32 billion is on Ethereum network. And then we have Solana, which is 20 times less. So yeah, number one is Tron.